pigtails. This is a good one for those casual summer days where you still want to keep your hair off your neck, but you're looking to just, amp up the look a little bit more and make it a bit more fun, a bit more retro, and a sophisticated version of pigtails. So the first thing that we need to do is to divide our hair into sections. You're going to need to use your tail comb for this, because this part of the comb is what helps us get the nice clean parts that we need. Because remember, a hair is seen not only from the front, but from the side, from the back, and all angles. And we want it to be looking clean and crisp. The first area I'm going to divide out is this section through here. I'm going to be dividing this to create my faux fringe area. First of all, take the tail comb, place it in your part, wherever your part may be, drag that down towards the top of the ear, then pull that section forward. You'll see that this gives me a nice clean part through here. Just keep this out of the way. You can do that with a bobby pin or a sectioning clip. You need to do this fringe separation on the other side. Now for those of you that don't have a coloured streak here like me, you won't need to worry about getting that absolutely perfect for the colour. But for my purposes, I'm actually going to divide my fringe slightly behind this white section, because if I divide in front of it and then pull this back over the bump, we could end up with a bit of a Bride of Frankenstein look, which isn't what I'm going for today. There we go. Now my whole back section is dark and I've got the blonde in the front section. If you've already got a fringe, this makes it a lot easier. I'm now going to take my sectioning clip or duckbill clip and just clip this out of the way. I find it helps to twist these before you actually clip them. Very attractive. The bump section. Now the bump section is what we're going to do here, where we want the height. Now you can do this only with teasing if you want a smaller bump, but I don't like to tease my hair if I can avoid it so that I'm not damaging it. So what we need to create this section is what's called a hair rat. I've made my own hair rat by using synthetic hair from one of the $2 or discount variety stores, then teasing that up, matting it, and putting it inside a hairnet. Now, as you can see, this is quite large and loose, but the good thing about this is you can make it smaller or larger depending on how big you want this bump area to be. And you simply pin into this to keep it nice and secure. It also means that for those of you that have thinner or finer hair, it's giving you the volume without taking away from the hair that you have that we later need to put in those pigtails. So make sure that you have your hair rat and you've got that put aside because we're about to pin that in. Now we take our tail comb again and divide the middle section. So just behind where we've created this part, we want to take a fine selection of hair in a semicircle shape all the way around, because this is what's actually going to cover that hair rat section. It doesn't need to be too deep because we're going to fill that with the rat. However, if you're choosing to do this by teasing your hair, you will need it a little bit deeper so the teasing isn't seen from the front. Then we're going to twist that and put that out of the way while we secure the rat piece. I'm just going to add that to this duckbill clip. Now that that middle section is out of the way, we can get on to pinning the hair rat in. Taking a couple of bobby pins, take your hair rat and determine where you would like to put this. Now, the more top of the head that you place this, the bigger the look is going to be. If you place this slightly behind, it becomes a more 1960s look where the volume, instead of coming straight up, is coming on an angle out towards the back. This is a little bit more gentle for those of you that aren't after quite such a full-on look. Squishing that piece down into the size you want, secure it at the base with a couple of bobby pins. I've now secured the hair rat into the middle section of my hair. So you can see that when my face is straight on, you can just see this bump. From the back, you've got a lot more volume. Now we want to take that middle section of hair and smooth that over the rat and secure it underneath. I like to use slide combs for securing because the slide comb actually secures a whole width of that hair rather than having to use a dozen bobby pins. Let's separate that middle section of hair that we pulled out earlier. We'll use our tail comb and comb that up nice and smooth once again. Then, holding it taut, simply bring that back over the hair rat. Don't let it go, and hold that at the base. Now you can use your tail comb to smooth this and make sure that that rat is completely covered by your own hair. This is where you want to put your slide comb in. The slide comb goes teeth up or teeth down depending on how thick or slippery your hair is. So for me, being that my hair is quite thick and that I'm putting this straight into the hair rat, I'm just going to place this upwards. Some of you may like to actually put the comb backwards. So you've got the curved part towards your scalp, sliding it up, then tip and push it back down. This is how you secure very fine or slippery hair. Now we take aside these front pieces. The reason that we've kept these aside is that we want this to soften the look off a little. Comb them out, and taking a bobby pin for each side, decide how soft or taut you want these to be. Taut meaning pulled straight back onto the head, or softer, just softly over the ear. I'll keep this side fairly taut and pin that section in. And the other side I'd like to keep quite soft because I want to have this section loose around my face and make the most of this. Now, as you can see, this gives me my fairly iconic swirl, but that's simply because I've got most of the hair on this side and I've just pushed that up. You can do whatever you want with this, or you might just be working with your own existing fringe. We get to the pigtails. The best way to do this is to take the two grips of hair and turn those into pigtails. However, we really want them to be quite straight and divided evenly at the back. So here's where we use our tail comb again. By placing the tail comb into that dip at the base of your neck, running it straight down, then separating, you can be sure that those pigtails will be even at the back. Making a hair tie that matches the colour of your hair, we want to secure these pieces towards the bottom, but still forward. So this touching just about the base of the ear. The reason for this is we don't quite want handles or reins out the back, and we also don't want them too far forward so that they're in our face. Now that we have our pigtails in, we can see that they're not too high up close to the scalp, because otherwise they tend to sit out like this. I was going for a little bit more of a mature take on this, as mature as pigtails can be. Okay, now that we have this, we're going to use our curling tong just to put some curls into the base here. I've added some volume and curl in here. The other thing I want to do is tease these, because I'm after a bit of a crazy messed up look at the bottom. And I want to put in as much volume down here as I can. Of course, you can keep yours curly, you could pin them up, however you'd like to do it. But given that this is such a structured look, I'd like to go a little bit wild with the bottom. Okay, now that we've done that, time for a little bit of lacquer to spray all through here to make sure it stays in place. And of course, if you'd like things to stay big and poofy, you'll also need to add a little bit of lacquer to them. For the finishing touches, you want to cover up these joins in the three most important places. Of course, you can keep these quite simple with the hair tie that's the same colour as your hair, but I like to add a big feature at the back. You could do that with bows, you could do that with ribbons, you could do that with flowers. I've chosen to add this large bow at the back here, just beneath where I've placed the slide comb. In there. So now that we've put our bow in the back, we can cover these parts with something else. Yes, you could tie in a ribbon, but that does take it down a little bit more of a childish route. I like to use little clip-in bows. can either use these bright blue ones for something quite cute and rather, well, Dorothy-esque, or a more subtle option is to use bows that match closely to your hair tone. So I'm going to use these little dark navy and pink dot ones. Remember, if you're going for a much more cutesy, perhaps Lolita look, you might want to actually really curl these sections. You could pin curl them beforehand or use your curling iron later. By doing the teasing, this gives us a totally different texture to the smoothness of this Bouffant do, and that juxtaposition helps it keep it a lot more modern for you. And there you have it, a cute modern take on 60s Bouffant Pigtails. You guys have been really patient waiting for this while I get my whole setup done, but isn't it better? If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be uploading brand new hair, makeup and beauty videos every Thursday.